I will introduce. Lord, we just thank you so much for a much more beautiful day than we had evening, at least around here with all that rain and flooding. And we just thank you, Father, though, that moisture was so needed in the Rockies to prevent forest fires that you knew we were going to need. So thank you so much for that. Lord, I pray that you would be with each one of us today. There seems to be an array of challenges going on in all of our lives right now. And Lord, I just speak a blessing of healing and favor over each person, Lord, for the solutions that need to come in the situations that they're facing, Father, the outside the box thinking that needs to happen, the people to step up and to step into the mess to help. Lord, it's not always easy to ask for help. It's not always easy to show up to help. And it's not always easy to provide the help when we don't know how we can best help. So Lord, would you just bring clarity of mind and vision and heart to each of these situations? And I just thank you for the opportunity to learn about stem cells more today. I just thank you for Donna being here and Charity doing the interview with her. And I know they've got a lot of things going on today that came up pretty quickly and suddenly. Would you just bless them for their obedience to show up and interact and be a part of really just sharing your solutions with those that need a holistic toolkit, Lord, because those solutions that they're providing and they're offering are very, very real and have certainly kept me healthier for sure in the duration of time that I've been walking this current challenge. So thank you, Father, in the name of Jesus. Amen. Well, ladies, we have Ms. Donna in our corner over here, and she actually was on the interview. If you caught the STEM interview already, she and Charity, awesome. You guys have already seen it. That's great. So she is here. I don't know for how long. She had something come up literally before we were supposed to get on here, and she needs to go attend to that pretty rapidly. So I just want to start straight off with her, and then I can answer some other questions that you guys might have on the back end. And then I will let you guys know where we're heading. How about that? Does that work?
Hello. Nice to meet y'all.
Hi there.
Well, I know that we shared our story, part of it. You know, I've been on the patches for right at 1 year. And I see something new all the time. And sometimes, you know, it's when you have an avenue like we took that actually activates your own stem cells. It's just it's different. I mean, I don't have a medically complex child. I have I have a complex body. And so I've had a lot of issues over a lifetime. And so I've used a lot of different methods, a lot of outside the box, a lot of inside the box, off the grid, in the grid. You know, when you need help, you just rock on. So it doesn't matter after a while. You're like, I'll just try it. So we've used a lot of different things, but this last year, I can say overall for a lifetime, I'd say this has been the most unique and the most effective method that I've seen with regards to actually repairing the body and me seeing the fruit of it. And that's the key. The key is seeing the fruit of it long term, not the fruit in a month or two. I'm not talking about something that makes me feel good in a month or two. I'm talking about over months, me seeing an actual change in my body and how my body works systemically, and not just, oh, my liver is cleansing, or oh, my kidneys are doing better. No, I'm talking about the entire overall body shift. And so I'm not all the way there. Stem cells don't work like that anyway. Even when you get stem cells from someone else, they take months and months and months to actually do a real change, because stem cells is how we're created. And so stem cells actually have their own agenda, and they go after what the real issues are. And we're so trained, especially in Western medical as well as holistic, really. We want something and we want it now. We want to see the change like in the next few months, or I'm getting off that thing. That's not working, when actually the body's repairing at the rate it can repair based on what's happening on the inside of us, that is so complex by this point of all these years and all the mess we've made on the inside of us and all that we're trying to figure out in our whole freaking lives. You know, it's doing the best it can to actually repair us. And so because I'm not a scientist, and I'm not here to say that it's the end all, but I'm telling you, with regards to long-term the way our bodies were made and our own bodies being able to repair itself, to me, is a higher way to actually get to the ROUTES and also the ROOTS. And I still have things I want to see. I mean, I'm not all the way there, but I can tell you, like, I ate like crap. I gave myself permission to eat like crap, like 2 weeks prior to this. Like, I'm talking off the chain crap. I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? I even talked to my health professional, and she's like, you're awful acidic, and look at all this gas, and what the heck's going on with you? I'm like, Starbucks espresso for 2 weeks, venti. She's like, you can't do that. I'm like, I know, I forgot. I just had this moment of freedom, and then my freedom came to a halt. But then that was, so this, the point is, so this week, today's only Wednesday, but from last week to yesterday, which is what my next appointment was, I have been clean, taking care of myself. And do you know, when we went, my body worked wonderfully. Why? Because my body's repaired enough now that even though I ate like crap, it only took a week for me to recover. Versus, I mean, it could take me several months to recover from stupidity like that, honestly. So I'm not here to do a sales job. Crystal knows, I'm here to serve, but I'm very persistent. I'm very bold about it. I'm very in their face to people. And they're so much like, they're like, hey, you're just way too assertive. I'm like, well, you tell that to the person who just thanked me that their life is, because they're alive today because of it. So you go ahead with yourself, but I know the power of stem cells. And so anyway, you unmuted yourself. What would you like to say, Miss Karen? And I don't have my glasses on. I apologize.
Oh, no, I've been unmuted for a while.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I don't know. I know that you've watched our time together. So I'm a talker. I'm from Texas. Ask me a question, I'll tell you a story. But we have lots of testimonies of people. We have a Telegram channel where we have thousands of testimonies of people's lives where they've seen changes in things that are medically complex and medically impossible to see, quite frankly. And I've talked to some people one-on-one with their own stories of people, again, reiterating that we do not treat, diagnose, or cure anything, and that everyone should talk to their own health administrator or medically represented person, however you want to deal with your own health. But people who had seizures for years and years and years, blackout seizures, and after a couple of years of having this mode, that now they don't have seizures anymore, So we have people that have the terrible word, and they're using it not to cure, not to treat, but to help their cells be regenerated so that they can fight the fight they're in from a higher space than every day wondering what the heck's going to happen, but knowing on the inside their cellular life is getting stronger, and that it's a process and it's fighting against dark things, which means that they have to also implement some kinder things and some things that are healthier. Like the people I know that are fighting that fight, aren't going to Whataburger every other day. They're not going to eat things that are going to diabolically oppose the life they're choosing in this area, but yet at the same time, they're not relying on it to be the only thing. We don't rely on any one thing to be the only thing. That's not, versus being in a medically complex world. Sometimes they want you to rely on just that one thing, and that's all you need. I don't think it's that simple for any of us. So whether you have don't have a condition at all, or whether you have a healthy place and you just want to have a healthier place, it's the kind of thing that works for anybody and everybody because of what it is, because it's the most natural thing you can ever use in your entire world, because you're created from it. So I'm happy to answer whatever I can. I'm not a scientist. I don't have sciencey answers. I have videos for all your little sciencey questions, all your complex things. And David Schmidt has phenomenal medical terms that he uses in all his videos. He's extremely up to date on anything happening in the world. And even in these complex situations, he's very up to date. He stays up to date because he's after our whole lives being better and living longer and being stronger, instead of just, the way he got me last year was, he said, at the conference we went to, which we were really, I'm not a conferencey person. You know, we went for training with what we did together, but that's different. Going to a conference, paying money for a conference, I'm like, I'm out. I'll watch the replay. You know, I'm not into that. But we did go. And one of the things he said was that basically, why is it that we're throwing our elderly in nursing homes when we should be extracting their memories and their experiences and their wisdom? And so his heart is to gain foothold with the elders to help their bodies recover. Does that mean it's the only thing? No, you still have to be hydrated. I mean, you still have to have some nutrients, but even if you don't have those things, those stem cells being activated are still going to be for you and not against you, because of the role they play in your life and the role they played in your life when you were born. They know you more intimately than you know you see? And so when he said that, I was in, because my mother was older. She died when I was younger. Matter of fact, I did a live video. That's why I'm better. I said, you know what? I've got to take this to what I know, where I know my processing is, to help people and to help myself. And, you know, I watched my sister pass away in her late 60s. I have a niece that's passing away in her 55 right now. She just got put in hospice today. You know, when we used the patches on her, her pain was gone like within a couple of days. She experienced some very strong changes in the way her body was responding. You know, she did take some actions I would not have taken, just because the lifestyle she lives is not the healthiest anyway, mentally or physically. And so anyway, she had her own decisions she made in those things, and she decided, well, let's just get this show on the road. So that's why she's in hospice and care today, because she decided to take control of her own life and get out of here. But she probably could have lived longer and been stronger for longer had she wanted to look at the holistic avenue at all, you know. So anyway, you have any questions? Because I'll just keep talking, because girl, ask a Texan, and we're that's all she took. So
Well, for myself, I've taken proactive approach to the last 10 or 15 years of my life. And yeah, so I don't go to doctors very often, but the last time I was at one, they actually said, well, can you tell us what medication you're on? And I was on none. And they're always like, they don't believe me, actually. I'm 66 now, and they just don't believe that, right? Everybody's on something, but maybe I don't go to the doctor enough to say, okay, put me on something, right? But I do go to a naturopath, and I've had to change my eating lifestyle because he said it's strong, you have candida. So I'm always working on candida. But I feel like, sort of like when my little baby girl at 5 days got put in an IU, like a
NICU.
Yeah, NICU center, and all the other babies where you could hardly put them in somebody's hand, right? And mine was like 10 pounds or 8 pounds. And I was like, I just don't want to be here. Sometimes I feel a little like that being a part of this group, but I knew Crystal, and I knew that I was like welcomed into this group. I was like, okay, well, why not do something about my life and correct these things now, rather than having a really serious problem. Who knows what's on the inside? Maybe I do have a serious problem and I don't know it, right? But yeah, that's some of the struggles that I have, even as trying to be proactive on things and feeling a little inadequate, or I don't even know what the word is I want to use, but feeling like, oh, well, to be part of their group, maybe I should be more sickly, or
No.
I know it sounds silly, but that's a bit of a struggle that I just personally have. I'm just
Well, you
voicing
could
it.
be here by divine assignment, and even today, it could be that the opportunity to activate your own stem cells is an avenue that can live longer and be stronger even further along than you think is possible, so that you can find even a greater stability in your latter years.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause
Well, that's how I'm looking at it, is like, build, strengthen what you have. Like, I am strong and I want to be stronger.
Absolutely. So I'm happy
Um,
to help with
I'm
any of
sure you're
that.
going to post some prices or some costs on,
Honestly, how we handle with everyone, even if I meet somebody out in a grocery store, even some young person that thinks they just want to go online and get it done like Amazon. I'm like, I'm not the Amazon girl. Let's have a conversation on the phone. Let me find out what's happening with you. I know you shared with me some, but I would still ask a little bit more about your life over the last 10 years or so, just because that's my cup of tea, just to see, you know. And then I would tell you what I feel like your body could use, and then you can agree or disagree. I'll give you a page of the patch technology, so you can actually see each one and what each one brings to the table, so you can see why I would even choose that for you. And then you can decide or not decide. I'm not a super salesy person. I'm really the serving person. I'm pretty adamant. I'm like, no, you need the anti-inflammatory. Sorry, it's just the way it is, especially with Candida. Absolutely, you need the anti-inflammatory. It's beyond, it's just the way it is.
yeah,
And inflammation eats stem cells. So to get a jump on things, having the stem cell activation and having your anti-inflammatory for at least 60 days is going to help your entire body move into a different space.
right.
And the glutathione, of course, would help your whole body, especially with the Candida. Again, because you said that, I already know in my brain, these things are going to help your body just move forward. And we can talk about it on the phone. I'm happy to. I'm just like this on the phone, so I'm not going to be a different person.
Right. And things like past injuries, like
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
had
those
a,
are things I would want to write down. If I need to write them down right now, I will. If you're being this open, I'm happy to write it
well,
down.
I'm just being, I think there's only 4 of us on here. I don't want to leave Sharon out here. I just
Well, it's
thought,
being
wow,
recorded, so 4,000 more are going to hear. No, I'm just kidding.
that's fine. My life's a pretty open book.
Yeah, why don't you guys take that one offline and you guys can chat. But I will let you know a little sneak peek surprise though. Donna and Charity are doing something special for the first 10 people that actually take the opportunity to invest in themselves and create their holistic toolkit. So they're actually upgrading packages and they're giving you more of the items available in there for you as a bonus for those first 10 people. So when we talk about that in just a few minutes, it'll be worth your while. It's a pretty amazing, like I've still got mine on. And honestly, this is the I always pronounce it wrong. It's the AEON. What's that one?
The anti-inflammatory.
Aeon. Yeah. So I knew that was the I always just say the name wrong. And then I've got this one over here, which is called Ice Wave. And this has a one piece here and then one piece in the back. And that's because of that shoulder surgery that I had on Monday. And so I can tell you, after having slept in a recliner all night, I'm doing pretty darn good. There's like my ankles are not kinkles and I don't feel inflamed and my hands aren't like super swollen, and actually they're not really swollen at all. I can get my rings on and off, so that's pretty good. So I would tell you guys just from a personal perspective of I was glad I was thoughtful to go get the additional patches outside of the ones I typically wear to put on when we went to the ER yesterday. So just to give you that heads up. And then I know Sharon actually was asking some questions yesterday. And so Sharon, I'm going to be really honest. I know it was your husband, but I don't remember what the ailment was and what the issue was. Would you be willing to share?
You have to unmute, hun.
Yeah, there we go. He's diabetic.
Okay, that's what it was.
So yeah, insulin dependent. He has a pump.
We have a new friend that just got on the patches. She's been on a pump since she was 11. Well, I don't know if they had a pump at 11, but she was a childhood diabetic. And so she like does the pump at her thing, and she's almost blind. And it's really quite funny when you live in a little town what you get away with, because they still pass her driver's license. I'm like, I don't know what y'all are thinking, but my. Anyway, I won't say what city just in case. But anyway, she's on them, and we're working with her, you know. I mean, they're holistic tools. It's at everybody's risk, including my own, you know. But the anti-inflammatory especially is helping her. We do have testimonies on our Telegram channel again of people who have type 1 and type 2 diabetes. And it's not a fix it, mix it. That's not the reality. And people who want that, they just don't remain. I mean, I had a lady, bless her precious heart, she got nauseous really, really bad, so much so that she like ended up in bed, and she didn't tell me. So when she did tell me, I'm like, oh, you're detoxing. She's like, well, I can't be. I eat clean. I'm like, well, you might eat clean, but your body is detoxing. And so she did it for a couple of days, and she's like, I'm out. And so she went to her pharmaceuticals and decided not to detox anymore, and just went on with her life. And she's bebopping along, but she's feeding her body all those poisons, which is totally up to her. I mean, we're friends, so it's like, I'm gonna see her, you know, but that was her choice. But, you know, and then I have another person who has a very specific thing, and he was also very nauseous, like off the chain nauseous. He couldn't handle it because his body was so full of toxins. And so they told me, thank God, they told me, and thank God I checked in with them. And then I put them on Eon for a week or so, because his has a pretty strong condition. And then still he got nauseous than that. I'm like, okay, let's cut back 6 hours. We ebbed and flowed. And then I said, you know what, let's just try them at night, which is not the best scenario. I don't want people to do them. They need to do them during the day, but really, for goodness gracious, for about a month, he's used them at night, and he's been great. And now they're beginning to use them during the day. His body he just couldn't function because of what he has. He just literally couldn't function, like physically couldn't function because of the nausea, and he's got kids and all this jazz. And so now they're moving forward. But we ebbed and flowed and tap danced with each other to figure it out. They didn't go, well, that's it, I'm it, they're not working. I'm like, actually, they're working wonderfully because you're nauseous. Yay, you're nauseous. You know, not everybody likes to hear that. But then some people feel nothing. I didn't feel any nausea, zero. I felt no nausea. And then it was like 5 months, 6 months in, I felt a week where I was like, oh, I feel horrible. My God, what's wrong with me? And I'm like, oh, I must be in a healing crisis. But my husband, he got on them. Within 2 hours, he had a headache. And then it was gone after just a few hours. So it's like he was detoxing. So there's testimonies on the diabetes. Because it's not about the condition. You know, people want a specific testimony on a specific condition, but it's not about the condition. It's about how the stem cells operate to go after the highest priority in your body. So let's say somebody has diabetes or Hashimoto's or fibromyalgia or MS or all these things, oh my gosh, that just make us freaking miserable. And your stem cells come back alive and they start scanning your body. They're going to find the highest priority, not necessarily what is the ROOT of that issue, but the ROOT of what the issue is that is critical for your life. But yet that issue might be part of the whole scenario of that Hashimoto's or that fibromyalgia or that diabetes. Well, y'all know, if you're in this group, you know, everything is complex, for goodness sakes. Everything's complicated. Your body's a whole system of the greatest system that's ever been created. The greatest computer on the planet is the physical body. You know, there's not a greater, you know. And so you just have to tap dance with your body as you work it out. So somebody like that, I would recommend Eon for the anti-inflammatory. I would do that for like a week. I would definitely recommend the stem cell activation. And I would ebb and flow with that ebb and flow with that. If you felt anything weirdness going on with you and you couldn't handle the weirdness, I'd say pull back for do it for 6 hours instead of 12 hours. And you just ebb and flow with you like you would anything that you have to do. If you were taking a medicine from the doctor that tasted like crap, you're like, oh my gosh, it's disgusting. And that made you sick as a dog for 3 hours, you know? I mean, we do that jazz. So I don't know why we don't do that jazz with things that are actually gonna like repair our bodies. You know, so I can lead y'all both to the group and tell y'all about it either another time or right now, don't care, you know. I can
I
tell you
actually
privately.
found a diabetic testimonial for her. I was going to read off to her. This is a
Cool.
type 1. Is that what he has, Sharon? Type 1, or does he have type 2?
Can't hear
Okay.
you.
There we go. I think it's type 2 because isn't that the insulin dependent one?
Well, let me read what she says. She's saying she's a type 1 and this is by Gabrielle Blake. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and these patches have helped tremendously with glucose levels. I placed a patch daily on my pancreas along with a carnosine, and I'll use the glutathione on the right L14 and the Eon at any recommended point, as most people don't realize stress plays a huge role in metabolism, especially when it comes to insulin effectiveness and insulin as a hormone. So I just thought that was, I just stumbled upon that one when I was just looking it up. I did find one of the stem cell patches that David talks about with diabetes, and I'll post it out to you in the group and tag you for it so you can read that. And then they did do a double-blind testing of the patch for actual insulin issues. So I thought that was really cool. And one thing that Donna had shared with me, this technology has like hundreds of patents attached to it. It's like crazy how scientific this is actually for what it does for our body. And, one of the doctors actually saw it on my hand and was asking me about it. And so I got to share with that doctor. And doctors who get that they don't know everything are going to be the ones that are willing to work and collaborate with you the most on your holistic toolkit. And one of the things that we just had a conversation with Katie's doctor was she was asking, well, has Katie been on any pain management prescription drugs? And we're like, nope, because her body can't handle that. It can't be something that she's in daily, which is why we have this lovely infrared mat with us and why we have this lovely frequency machine over here with us. And, we're just like pointing out all the tools that we brought with us. She's like, oh, I like you. So it was encouraging to be able to have that conversation with a doctor who is not just there to push another pill, right? Now, pain management is a whole nother topic that now Donna and I need to have a conversation around to make sure that we've got the right patches for pain management as well. But I just think that it's really interesting as you go through some of those testimonies, you're going to be able to see so many ailments and issues that are in there that you're going to have a lot of opportunity to reverse so many things that might be happening in your body. And I know Karen with the Candida, that's one of the things that Katie and I had to handle for her when she got diagnosed with Lyme. Lyme thrives on Candida. I didn't even know anything about Lyme until she got diagnosed. Like I had no idea. So when I found that out, we actually, before Donna had done these patches and before we had all these conversations, we had been introduced by another holistic doctor to Liver Medics, which is a Candida and parasite cleanse. And we did 3 rounds of that. Man, that stuff will get rid of your Candida in a heartbeat. That was craziness. The stuff that was coming out of my kid. And I'm like, where did you get this from? We don't eat that much fish. Like we cook our food. We don't eat raw steak. Like where did all this come from with the parasites? And then the parasites just feed on that Candida, and then their toxin release is actually Candida. So it's like they eat the Candida and then they poop the Candida. So it doesn't really help you at all to have parasites. So you got to get rid of them. So that's just another form of a detox that has to happen for a lot of people to handle that Candida. More people than you realize actually have that issue. And so Dr. Bashina's coming, and she's actually our interview for tonight that I'm going to release. So that's pretty exciting. So
a testament on Candida to your texting.
Oh, awesome. Perfect. I will put it out there in the group.
There's only one on it because our patches are not for very specific, it's not like, oh, take this and you get rid of this. This is, all our patches have to do with a systemic approach to the entire body, getting the roots of what is the highest priority with regards to life, being taken care of in your body. The medical, no medical machine is going to be able to show that. You're not going to know that. I'm not going to know that. But our stem cells, which are created with an innate DNA that know us intimately, they know what is critical to our life for living and staying alive. I'm not talking about living. I'm talking about what's the highest priority to you actually staying alive on the planet. That's what stem cells do. That's a whole different ballgame. If you can get that along with whatever it is you're doing, if something you have going on is working, awesome. Don't stop it. This is not either or, but use something that's going to actually repair your body and not just help your body along. You help your body along with these frequency machines, awesome. But now let your stem cells get involved so your stem cells can repair what the frequencies are helping get better. Let stem cells actually repair your body. I mean, to me, that's freaking amazing, guys. I'm just,
And that is the whole point of creating the toolkit, is to have tools that partner with each other, support each other, and build upon each other. So you're going to hear from Dr. Machina, who just popped on tonight with her interview about frequency machines and microcurrent. And so as you're learning about those, that can give you some instant results. So my poor kiddo just had something happen while we've been here. And so I went, oh, I have the frequency. Let me go get that program. So we got that program running for her so she could have instant, for her, it's pretty instant on that program, relief of what was going on in her body in that moment. And then in the meantime, we've got the stem cells working to repair themselves. And then she also has her box on. So she's getting that brain opening. So think about how that combination works, guys. So if you've got HPT, and Donna's familiar with HPT as well, and the healing. And so if you think about using that human performance technology to open your brainstem, okay, so now it's not having to go through the static. And now you've got a frequency unit machine working on the frequencies of those cells with an open brainstem so it can do what it needs to do well. And then you have the patch for the stem cells, and now the stem cells are getting in there and repairing themselves. I mean, guys, this is really the ultimate setup for how to have the best possible way to have body, soul, and spirit, right, in your body, and your body's working well with itself and with these tools supporting each other. I mean, that's really ideally what we designed the holistic toolkit to be for, because we saw why those tools worked well independently, and then to create this collaboration and partnership with them is just going to amplify and magnify the healing effect within the body completely. And that's why I've done this event, and why I'm actually set up the offer of what I am showing you for the toolkit in just a few minutes. Before I jumped over to that, Donna, I pulled up one of the stem cells. Oh, and now we're not going to show it, huh? Well, I had it up. Now it doesn't want to show.
So to find those testimonies, you posted that in the
how
group.
about can I get phone numbers or not, Crystal?
Yeah, sure. If you want to. Yep, that's fine.
Okay, I can text you because I have specific links that can invite you in and then take you in. That way it's easier than just doing a blanket thing. And then you have a connection point of someone as well, and not just some blanket out there for people that may not.
Yeah, Crystal has my telephone number.
Yeah. I'll text both of you, and that way you're both in the loop.
Yeah.
Well, just rather
I'm
than
a loop person.
not that I wouldn't like if 4,000 people are going to hear.
No, we're not going to do phone numbers on here right now. You can chat her individually if you want, though. That's a way to do it.
Text me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll text you, and her. And then she's actually in the loop too and knows what to send to people if she has questions that aren't through me. I'm happy to. I'm just all about the body getting well, guys. When you've had the sicknesses that some of us have had for the length of time we've had, and we've invested cascade all these different things to help our bodies. When you can actually repair your body, in addition to giving it the frequency it needs to repair, but then the body actually repair versus you have to do all these things to make sure it stays repaired. It's just mind blowing to me what God has released on our planet to help us.
Amazing.
It's a brilliant. I know Miss Machina or Dr. Machina's got her thing off. I'm all
Hi,
ears.
can I say hello to everybody? It's very
Absolutely.
amazing that I just switched on. I just arrived in England today, just a couple of hours ago. So I'm sorry I couldn't get on board yesterday and the other day. But what happened is that I was just about to transfer on the Helia, and somebody's Healy who asked me for a program for stem cells.
Oh, isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's called in Healy World, Marcus Schmico would talk about synchronism. And I was just ready because she said it didn't go through yesterday, something's wrong with the Healy. Can I resend it? And I just switched on and set up here where I am by Kevin's place. And I said, let me transfer. I said, oh my God, let me see if Crystal and them are still around. So just set up the Wi-Fi and here I am. And here it's about stem. And this person asked me specifically, is there a frequency for that? And she actually gave me a frequency. And I tried to make it up on the Healy, a program. And I said, okay, let's call it stem cell support. So isn't it amazing that you're talking about it and I'm just transferring one and the tools are available, like you say, and I agree 100%. You're getting to the core, and more core than stem cells you won't get. Thank you
That's
very
right.
much.
I mean, that's the truth. It's going to activate them, activate the
Yes,
ones that you
yes.
have instead of getting somebody else's is so important that you're able to do that. So what's in your stem cells versus getting something from somebody else. Because the reality is, even with transplant organs, they are having memories from those original people that they're getting them from, and so if you think about that, that's a whole nother trauma to your body, not just to receive a transplant, but now to receive those memories as what you're walking through, and you don't even know why you're walking through it because they're built into those organs from those stem cells. So I mean, that's a whole nother thing to consider, that if we can just use our own stem cells to repair our body, that would be so much better for ourselves. Absolutely, without question.
And what's amazing is, and this might be the same with the frequency machine, I'm unsure, but I know with the patch technology, that it activates your own, but it also creates new stem cells. It causes your own body to create fresh new stem cells that go after.
Tell me a little bit about, does the patch have like some kind of a plant-based thing that's in the patch?
And no, they're organic crystals with a designed pattern for your own infrared light to basically reflect from, and then it goes after the intention of that patch.
Okay, so it's
And
very much like how frequencies work. Okay.
So that specific one is for stem cell activation. Then we have other patch technologies that were at the table for the last 17 years and building upon until that one took 10 years to create. So each one has a different intention. Each one stands on its own without the other one. And then the stem cells basically was the mother lode that he has a 20-year patent on. And so he has like 140 patents, and 70 of them are in regenerative science. And
So
so
have you heard of the 470, is it 448 kilohertz? Because if you Google it, it tells you it's for stem cell repair. And even
awesome. I'm talking about patches. I'm talking about patch technology, not a frequency machine.
okay.
And so it's kind of like how the sun shines down on us and our body reacts by creating vitamin D. This is from the same type of science, that when our bodies, the body heats up the patch, and our own infrared light hits the lattice of that, and then that individually designed, those individually designed crystals it goes after that and that specific intention, whether it be anti-inflammatory, whether it be deep repair and increasing the lifelong, the telomere ends, whether it be energy enhancers, which I love my energy enhancers. I wear them every day, which they don't really enhance your energy. It's really not the best name, but that's what they called it. That was created for the Navy SEALs to help them stay awake on long-term missions. And what it does is it removes phlegm from your body and deals with reflux and all sorts of things inside the lungs. So none of these items are, every single one of them is really a science tool. So scientific with hours and many, the patents and all the studies and God, you name it. We have the science to back up every single solitary patch and what it does. And so it's very
Wow.
non-invasive, non-transdermal, nothing goes
Love
into your
that.
body whatsoever. And so two of them, one of them is based on red laser, one of them is based on blue laser. There's one that stays on the left-hand side of your body only. There's one that only goes from the sternum up. That's the Nirvana. There's the other ones that are used either on your C7 or below your belly button. And there's some used on the ankle, some on the toes, some on the hand. But at the end of the day, we've all discovered I've only discovered the last year, but those have been using them, that you can just stick them all in your belly and go on with life and they still work. So, because, that's our second brain, and so it's I love the frequency machines. I have what she's discussing, what she has for a toolkit. I do appreciate the affordability of the patches. In case you can't afford a machine to use at home, I appreciate the affordability of having a way to activate your own stem
Brilliant.
cells without having to go someplace, so it's really helpful for a normal person who can't do the other, right? And then I've also learned people that really honestly don't have the finances for anything, when they see it, when they understand what it does, they can find it. They
Wow.
find it because they go, oh,
I'm interested in it because in Africa, they certainly cannot afford things. In
Can you say
Africa,
that one more
South
time?
Africa, where yes,
one more-
sorry, in Africa, they cannot afford frequency machines. So I always look for more economic options, because it is what you're talking about is frequency.
yes,
But because the crystals that are there amplifies a pattern, which is a pattern holds a frequency, and the way you put the patches, from what are you telling me, if it's put onto a certain acupuncture point, left side, right side,
correct.
certain points, it will go into the meridians of the
Yes.
body, and that's where the healing would be amplified again.
Correct.
So I think there's a great place for this, another technology, but if it's economical in patches, and can you reuse the patches? Are they reusable?
The patches
Or
themselves,
how long do they last?
the patches themselves they're placed on for 12 hours and then removed for the next 12 hours while your body repairs. I will say that normally we will throw those patches away, but because we know there's 3 or 4 hours left on this biodegradable little thing, we put them on our pets. I've also put them on people that I've met, that I'm at the end of the day, but I know there's a few hours left. I'm like, well, here, let me see if this will help you. And I'll put them on their spine, and they'll call me the next morning and say, I had no pain all night long. I'm like, well, imagine that, because there's still time left on it.
Okay.
But you don't use it for a whole day. Once you don't use it for 12 hours, it's only got a few hours left. So, and that's
Unless
only
you're
if the
me
body
and
suck
you
it
haven't
out.
been home, and then I've had it on, I'm going on 29 hours.
Yeah, you might want to take them off, because I have learned when I leave something on, like the other night, I accidentally left my energy enhancers on, and it was a long day. And I noticed the next morning I had them on, so I left them off for another 24 hours. So they'll do one or two things. Either one, they'll suck into me so much, so I'm like, oh my goodness, can barely peel it off. or it just lifts off.
Yeah, that's what mine's doing right now.
Yeah,
It's
if it's
just
been on
like-
that long, yeah, it's not working anymore, and you don't want it to. You want it to now. You need to leave it off for the next 24 hours so your body can repair. You don't leave the lights on all the time. Now I know in South Africa, I cannot tell you exactly where, but I have some online friends, and I asked them to do a little research for me because we do ship to South Africa. And
Oh, really? Wow.
yes, ma'am. We ship to 80 or 81 countries. And she showed me, so I know the prices are, because I actually hired somebody years ago in South Africa, and what we paid them was really like 3 times more than what we paid them. That's what it was worth for them in South Africa. So it was high dollar for them what we paid, even though it didn't seem high dollar.
Yes, it's,
you know.
it's 1:50. I think 1:17 now. So the it's very expensive. Yeah.
Right.
One
So-
rand. Yeah.
Well, one place, there was a doctor's office, and I don't remember the name, and I'm thankful, but that doctor's office was charging like 5 times the price of it, like 5 times
Wow.
the American price, because they have the option to do that, which is why I think part of the beauty of our being a science company, but set up through direct sales, is to keep it out of the hands of, say, the medical profession, who might put who might not allow it to be put into the hands of just anyone, versus you can purchase this yourself as a holistic tool, and you can use it on you, and you're responsible for you, which is part of our founder's heart, is be responsible for your own health. Don't just give your health over.
I'll definitely keep in touch with you, because I usually spend at least 3 months in South Africa in the winter months in Europe. And I do a lot of research there. I do a lot of homeopathic research, and a lot of my time waiver research was done in South Africa, because, it was economical, but I learned a lot from the research. And also you can see things, you get a very vast range of people to see. So, I mean,
Where are you
I would
from?
like to try.
Yeah, where do you actually live?
I'm living in Italy.
Okay, we also ship to Italy as well.
Okay.
So this is not an expensive tool. We have a range of ways to purchase it that are not, for what it is, it's amazing. Matter of fact, it was so amazing. I called the company about a couple of months in and said, okay, I just want to make sure that y'all aren't going to go bankrupt, because this is way too cheap to me for what it does. And so they explained to me how they keep from, they're an out of debt company. An American-based out of debt company is a big deal, And so they explained to me how. I said, okay, that makes sense. So I'm good. I was at peace then, But we're set up in such a way that you can ship to like 80, 81 countries, because we just opened in Thailand. That's why I'm saying 81. I think we're in 81 now.
Okay.
And I'm happy to talk with you. I'm going to have a conversation with Karen, possibly Sharon. I'm not sure. I'm just going to text with them, and then anything that anyone purchases, of course, I'm helping.
Well, I'm really grateful for Crystal for hosting something like this, because I think about it, it's so relevant, just, medical moms, but also caregivers.
Yes, I
Because
believe that.
I learned as a doctor, I learned from my patients, and from that, because they are sometimes they put you on a lead to go and discover something new, and many times I learned a lot of things. They would come and say, I do EAV, so I test products on my electrical machine.
Yeah.
So I could say that this works or doesn't work. And then sometimes they would bring a herb or a vitamin or something because you cannot know.
You can have a talk, because I love it. Maybe you never know, you might be helping me in my journey. I'd love to help all 3 of you. And because you travel so much, oh my goodness, I definitely want to get you set up, because you can impact the world with your traveling. Oh my gosh, that makes my heart so happy, because I mean, I have helped, we have this one person, and I have permission to tell the story. We have this one man who, and we might have shared it in the video, I don't remember, but he's been on dialysis for 41 years. And he, starting at 16, and at 17, his kidneys were completely shriveled. And so after 6 weeks of being on the patches, after a couple of weeks, he started spurting pee. He's like, what the heck? And then after 6 weeks, he's been urinating twice a day.
Wow.
And so
So
for those of you who understand dialysis and understand the impact of what I'm saying, those parts are coming back. Those parts are coming back to life. We had another lady in Mexico who has passed away, and not because of this, because of something else. Unfortunately, it's like, are you kidding me? But anyway, she had in her kidneys, and she got on the patches, and within like 3 or 4 days, she had blood showing up in her kidney bag. She had 2 bags, a bag on both sides, because she'd been given 6 months to live.
Wow.
And because of what was happening with her. And anyway, within a few days, she had blood in those bags. I'm like, what the hey? I'm like, don't you think you should call your doctor? You know? And so she went in, and sure enough, they removed the bags. Her body had begun to repair. And then within, I think it was within 10 days or so, her body, she was able to sleep in her own bed. And then unfortunately, she ended up falling and breaking a hip. And anyway, she had to go in the hospital, and all these things took place. So, and she ended up passing away. It had nothing to do with this.
No, the thing is that when you do something like this, if people die, that's normal. We're all going to die at some point. But the thing is, you didn't die of what you thought where there was no hope. She died with dignity. She didn't die with bags and things like that, That's great. Lovely story.
Oh, I want to get to know all of you. Oh my gosh. Do I have permission to have all y'all's numbers or not? And if you say no, I don't care. I'm not, I got no feelings attached, but I'd love to talk with each of you and just see where you're at and see what's happening and see how we can help you. And it's such a blessing. And I'm so thankful I did not just not come on, I'm very thankful.
All right, I will get you what you need, Miss Donna, so you can have those conversations. And I know we have just a few more minutes, and I know you need to go be with your person. So if you guys could give me maybe 5 more minutes. I just want to pray us out real quick, but then I want to share with you the offer, which includes what they're willing to do for you for the first 10 people who invest in the toolkit. And so let's have a little conversation around that. So do you guys have about 5 more minutes?
Yeah, we're in.
All right. Lord, we just thank you so much. And I just pray a blessing over Donna and her family right now as they're going to be walking a harder transition on a journey that could have been a little different than it is, Lord, but that's beside the point now. And Lord, we know that you still have words to say and miracles to perform, and this young lady needs to hear from you in a way she's never heard from you before. So Lord, we just stand in agreement for that revelation to come to her heart, her mind, her soul, and her spirit, to know you through and through without question, and to just bless Donna's family as they're walking with her. And if I remember correctly, this young lady has some children. Lord, so would you just prepare their hearts because things are about to look radically different for them. And Lord, we just thank you for the opportunity to come stand before you on her behalf and to call out this healing and this health and this wholeness for her body. In the name of Jesus, we just thank you so much. Just bless Donna as she goes about her day in unexpected, Lord, that you would bring people to her mind and her heart and her path, that she can share your truth and your word and your solutions with. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Let it be.
Well, guys, we are over here having all kinds of ridiculous fun on my computer today. So I have it set up in 4 different ways, but it doesn't want to open or share any of those ways with you. So we're trying a little new way. So if you'll be patient.
Does it have to do with what I'm doing? Would you like me to pull something up?
It's my whole
Got it.
software. for them for the toolkit, but it really is just struggling to internal error. How super fun. What the heck does that mean? Wow. I love it when a plan does not come together. I tell you what, Donna, I am going to make you host or co-host for just a second. I am going to come out of Zoom and then come back in and see if that will work. So you guys should be good to go. So hold 2 seconds if you guys would.
Try not to get in any trouble while you're gone.
I know, right? My phone is blowing up. You guys will appreciate this story. My phone is blowing up. And this person is calling and texting me from my mom's number. And I'm like, Mom, I can't talk to you right now. And they go, I'm not your mom. I found this in the bathroom at the Walmart. I'm like, trying to throw my phone to my daughter. Could you look up the phone number for the Walmart by mom's house and call and have her page to come get her phone? Like, this is my life today, guys. It's just like, let's just be real. Okay.
Could you
gonna
send
leave.
something to Donna? Could you
She can
send
send
something to Donna if she's the host?
Oh. Well,
Yeah,
she-
there you go. Yeah, send it to Donna. That'd be great. Why don't you guys work on that and I will come right back in.
Okay.
Before I leave, if you want this transcript, I would tell you to save it because when I come back in, it won't be the whole transcript.
Where is it?
Oh, it's under transcript. Might be more.
View full transcript.
Yep. And then you hit save transcript at the very bottom.
Transcript.
Yeah.
Transcript saved. Show and finder. I got it. Thank you.
Karen, how'd you do?
I'm
And
fine.
Oshina, yours will only come in at the point that you came in, so I can send you the transcript if you'd like it. And Sharon, if you want it, did you get it? All right, I'm gonna leave and then come back. So hold 2 seconds.
Yes, ma'am.